You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's The Americans After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's The Americans After Show.
Welcome to Americans AFTERBUZZ After Show. That's our cue.
That's it.
is.
Time to
That's what
talk,
I was
man.
doing. I was waiting for you to start the show, Joe.
Get it on, brother.
I am
Any
Joe
Joe will
Braswell.
do.
We're here. I'm here with my two good friends, Jenifer Golden
Hello.
and Joe Sanfelippo.
Nice to be with you guys.
We are coming down the stretch here of the Americans, aren't we?
Only a couple left.
Only 2 episodes left, and tonight was a fantastic episode, as usual.
I feel like it really tied up a lot of things, or it forged along.
Well, I kept saying, I said this last week and the week before, but they kept foreshadowing in the first, 5 episodes about how dangerous Lyric is. Like, every episode, it was like, Lyric's really dangerous.
Right.
He's really dangerous. Look out for Lyric. And I was like, man, Lyric was gone. Now we know he's very dangerous.
But I mean, he's no more dangerous than they are.
No, but they kept, as a story arc, I feel like
Right.
they kept foreshadowing that Lyric's going to be back to wreak havoc. And he came back and he
He's wreaking some havoc.
Right.
some havoc.
That
was,
is the definition
was
of wreaked havoc. It has been roken.
he wrote some havoc.
It has been rickified.
We still don't know though if he killed Leanne and Emmett, which I really need to know the answer to that.
Yeah.
I suspect that he did, based
Well-
on all the stuff that's gone on.
Well, for why?
Well, because they had some over his head. They had him by the
But
tail.
were they the ones blackmailing him?
Yeah.
No, but I feel like he didn't.
I don't think they were the ones working him.
He didn't get all
They were
like
blackmailing
ba-bam until right now.
Oh, what? Ba-bam?
Ba-bam. I don't think that he was as vicious and seeking revenge until recently.
You think it's that Philip killed the guys in the camp? Do you think
Yes.
that's what
I think
set him off?
Yes.
Yeah,
that started this domino
that's
effect.
obviously what set him off. But I think that before that, I'm just trying to figure out why he killed Emmett and Leanne.
Well, we don't know
What's
that
the
he did.
motivation?
Well, because they were blackmailing him because he's gay.
But I know, but were they the? Just to be clear here, were they the? I know the KGB was blackmailing.
I thought
him.
it was Emmett and Leanne that were blackmailing him,
based on what?
based on what the show said.
Okay, I don't remember that.
I
don't remember. I know
They were telling they
Yeah, they are the ones who initially brought him in, right? And caught
yeah, and that's
him.
how they were getting him. That was
Okay.
the angle they went
Right.
in. That was the wedge.
Well,
But
that
I
makes
don't think
sense.
that he killed them. I think that just led us onto his tail and made him part of the storyline. But I don't think he killed them. I think we're gonna find out somebody. Well, we'll talk about this in
We'll
predictions
talk about,
probably.
Yeah, but I'm also just very interested in the whole notion of the notion of Kate going to see Jared, not in disguise, and what that conversation was.
Yeah, what's going on there?
Immediately
Yeah.
after Elizabeth went to go see Jared, and not too soon after Stan went to go see Jared. So Jared's, and Jared
Popular.
said he's very popular, obviously, very smart. Like he says, "I'm not stupid. I know something's going on. I need to know what."
Well, and clearly there's more going on than we know, because it obviously if Jared's parents were involved with Kate before Philip and Elizabeth were involved with Kate, then Kate's been around longer than we thought.
Right.
True. We don't know a lot about Kate, which I think will answer some things now that she's gone, and the center just gave Philip and Elizabeth her address. So, obviously things are going to start being revealed.
I agree. That's a message for you, sir.
Oh.
What?
There's
Put your
feedback
phone away,
happening.
Flippo.
There we go. There you go. Perfect.
I mean,
Well, that was less distracting than the zip, than the buzz.
AFTERBUZZ.
I just supposed to look over. You're like, what? Huh? What happened? That's anyway.
Great.
We'll talk more about the show. We have a lot to get into. I want to get
do.
into Paige, obviously, and that whole thing, and Elizabeth's reaction to Paige. How Elizabeth and Philip are on the case in terms of really starting to figure out what's going on with George, who's missing, and all the other folks who are missing. Lyric's rampage, of course. What's going on at the Residentura? Lots going on at the Residentura. I have lots to discuss and ask about Nina, you specifically.
Of course you do.
Questions I know. I always have that. But I do have some questions on Nina. But before that, I do want to remind and mention to all you guys that our lovely founders and executive producers, Maria Menounos and Kevin Undergaro, have a fantastic show that you may or may not be aware of. I'm sure you're aware of if you listen to AfterBuzz, called Chasing Maria Menounos, and it is on, and it is fantastic. You can find it on 10 p.m. on Oxygen. You can also download it, or you can also find it on iTunes and Amazon and get it on demand. A lot of us are in it. They're in it. It tracks Maria and Kevin's life. It is very, very funny and very good. And I love
actually
the show.
teared up because of the previews for next week about
You teared up during
Maria's
the previews?
dad,
Yes.
about her dad
I
with
know.
diabetes and
I
how
know.
it's like a real serious thing.
Yeah. It's great
He's
stuff.
a sweet man.
He is,
He's a
and
sweet guy.
he needs to take good care of himself. And you see her just like contemplate the idea of life without him because what could happen because of diabetes. So I teared up.
It's great. And I've known Maria for a while. I work with her over at Extra, and she helped bring me here. And then I was going to meet Kevin, and Kevin's great too. And so it's interesting to see. But as much as I even know them, I know more about them through the show. So it's great. Check it out. 10 p.m. on Oxygen or iTunes or Amazon on demand. Now, let's talk about Nina.
Let's talk about
Okay,
Nina.
of course she's first.
I
of
mean,
course.
Okay, so
Let's talk about Oleg.
There's Stan.
There is
and
nothing wrong with Nina.
There's plenty. Well, actually, let's start with Stan because Stan's still hot on the case. He's him and Gad are very sort of they're figuring this thing out. Go ahead.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Sure.
I wonder if there has been like an edit change or like a change in direction at some point in this season, because I remember a few episodes ago Stan went to Gad's house, and remember how furious Gad was about that. You remember his reaction to it?
Yeah.
And it just seemed to me like this episode, it almost seems like it's it almost seems like they wrote two parallel timelines with Gad and Beeman. And they're not really
consistent.
Yeah, like the relationship does
Right.
not seem consistent to me.
Because we said it before that episode too, before Stan went to his house. We were like, wait, weren't they just buddies and they were working on this stuff
And
together?
now they hate each other, and now they're buddies again.
And now they're buddies. And then tonight they were like half buddies, half not buddies. So it felt like they were trying to like bridge those two gaps and maybe fill that hole, but it
It
I
seems
have
more
answers
changing.
for
it's
that.
uncomfortable.
I have answers.
You have answers?
Do
I
you?
do have answers.
Well, tell me the answer.
Yeah.
No, it stems from the whole when Stan pulling that. Basically when Gad got reassigned, and that for that whole thing, and Stan was investigated, and the office was investigated, and Stan got reassigned, and now he's back. It's fine, but that whole thing pissed Gad off. Gad got reassigned.
Right.
That whole thing really pissed Gad off, and then they had that confrontation where he's like, I'm not going to burn you down to burn this office down. As much as I'm pissed at you, I'm not going to hang you out to dry as well. But
Right.
this sucks. Thanks, Stan.
I get all that, but I guess it's more of a show thing to me than, because like if someone's been to my house, I'll usually, like, I've been married 17 years. Hell, you met my wife. I'll say something like that. I won't, I've been married 17 years, and that's the first you've ever heard of anything about my family except for that time you came to my house, which I'm not going to address.
Right. That was so odd.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. I just feel like that
It was
there
like they had just met.
there's some professional courtesy happening there the whole time. I think they were closer than they still had the boss, employee relationship. Gad was the boss. There's definitely professional courtesy and respect towards each other. They've been through a lot, but once that whole incident went down, where Gad got transferred, I think Gad was sort of like salty on Stan. Now he came
Wait,
back.
but there was
Go
an
ahead.
episode though where Stan pulled Gad in to help, and it was like he was buttering him up and being like, "I need your special like."
Yeah,
Right.
and
You
that
know.
was his way back into the unit.
And
Right.
Gad was very much like, okay. He had a little smirk on his face, and then
But then the next episode was that whole house visit, and he was all bent out of shape about it.
It just seems mushy. That's all. I'm not.
Okay, fair enough.
We're not
I mean,
going to get to the bottom of it, but I just feel like we should point out that it's a little mushy.
it seems to ring true to me. I don't know.
There's a little
It
hole.
could be.
There's a hole, I think.
But so Stan seems to be hot on the case, and he's he's having a lot of still having a lot of problems at home. Obviously, and he's still he
Sandra.
finally got his commendation, which which is great, which he seems to mean very little to him at this point. But he's still home, and he has that conversation with Sandra, and that was a very interesting interaction the two of them
Let me
had.
ask you a question,
Yeah, so
and
listen.
this was very interesting to me because when he got the commendation from Gad, it was like Gad and here talking, and Gad's like, "Oh crap, hold on, don't go anywhere."
Right.
Here's your commendation.
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like the commendation was, I mean, that whole thing. Remember, he said you should get a commendation, but you're not going to get a commendation. Instead, you're getting investigated and you're getting transferred.
I was the episode to me was, I think it did a really good job of pointing out, like, when you're a little kid, like he was talking to Henry about this. You know, I wanted to be in the FBI from reading the comic books and the shootout, and it was interesting that he still could think back to how he felt reading the comic books about being in the FBI.
Did you
but
see
then
the
the
look
reality,
in his face though in that moment? I mean, I'll go back to that, but go ahead, finish your thought.
well, just the reality of actually the actual reality of the politics of it and the game playing and the adult reality that you're getting a trophy for doing a thing because the bosses, you know, kind of want to make you feel good. It's the same thing. It's the same reason we give kids trophies for soccer. It's you know, here's a little thing. And a lot of kids will play a whole season of soccer for that goofy trophy. And, you know, Stan has probably worked his whole career thinking he wants this thing, and then he gets it. He doesn't get the ceremony he wants. He doesn't get all the fanfare he wants. His boss goes, oh, crap, I got to give this to you. Here it is. He takes it home. He can't even show his wife, because his wife has just got back from a 3-day tear with boyfriend.
I think it was longer than 3 days.
Yeah,
Was it longer than 3 days?
a long time.
Yeah, because they kept asking, like, is she back yet? It was like she was never coming back.
Right?
Was this
So-
the longest
Was
3
back yet?
days ever?
No.
So maybe they went to Miami, where good things happen, good things in Miami. Maybe they went to Miami for 3 weeks and then came back.
Maybe they did.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
But
Her hair looked too good, though, to have been in Miami. I'm
looked
sorry.
fantastic.
oh, the humidity would have killed
Yes,
it.
she would not have had that hairdo.
But it just seemed to me like a real bummer, like all of like a real just the juxtaposition of fantasy versus reality, and like you say, what is this? That's just a work thing. He can't even tell her. It's just all.
I think part of that also shows, like what we always say, that their jobs are jobs and they're also human beings, and that what they're doing is so serious. Just like he said to Henry, I'm not a hero.
Right.
Like there's a lot of consequence that comes with his job. Like first that he like loses his wife, basically. That
Yes.
he has to kill people.
Yes, there's that.
There's all kinds of like dramas with his lady friend that she might be deported or whatever. So
Mad drums.
right, mad drums, Sue's drums with Anina.
But I do want to pick up. I'm glad you picked up on that interview with Henry, because that there was that moment where he talked about, you know, why he got into the FBI, and that, like, and this is where, you know, Noah Emmerich wins acting, like the look in his face in that moment, talk about, you know, God, Dillinger and those guys were the guys.
You could still
like,
feel that.
the look in his face was such joy, and then in that same sentence, he went back and says, kind of like, but now it sucks, you know,
Right.
the reality of that, and then that's kind of interesting in that, like, to see him why he is Stan, and when Stan is at his best, when he is, you know, cracking cases and solving, and he's really enthused. He loves his job, and he's very good at his job. We argue this, but he's very good at his job, I think.
He's getting better. I'll give you that. Tonight didn't annoy me as much.
But back at home with Sandra, he is a complete mess, and none of that stuff is important. And I don't know, just I'm gonna end it, Sandra. Just, you know, it's over.
Well,
I like
doing
that
it.
you like made her more exotic, Sandra.
Sandra, that hairdo. She came in like Sandra. She left Sandra and came back Sandra, honey.
Uh-oh.
Might as well call her Stella. Stella got her groove back. Sandra got her groove back.
Sandra came back
like,
Sandrified.
Don't ask me anything you don't want to know.
I love that line. She's very mature.
But yes, 3
way
weeks,
more
4 times a
mature
day.
than Stan.
Yes,
Okay.
3 weeks, 4 times.
All right, gutter people.
All right.
Just saying.
Calm
Poor
down.
Stan.
That's how you do it in Miami. That's what I've heard.
Okay. So anyway,
But how are they even questioning? I clearly harp on this every time. How is it not over, and why do they ask that question if it
How
because
do you
they have a
end it?
family.
Where do you go?
They have family, and it's
Right.
1980.
And it's
They have a
1981 or
grown-up
82.
son.
Is it 83?
Yeah.
They have a grown-up son.
Well, what do you? What
They're having affairs left and right.
Well, they don't.
They just
you don't-
started.
Yeah, they're just
Whatever.
It's their first fling.
You know.
Okay, so anyway,
Please be
let's move
kind.
on from that. But the point is that what I want to get to is so Stan is his we know his clearance level is up. Oleg and Arkady know this, so they still need the information. We're still trying to get to the bottom of this whole stealth technology and how the Americans are doing it. and
Stealth. The time has come for the push, man.
the push, and so they need the information. We saw from that sort of great scene that opened the show back from our guy Vasily and the scientist whose
Anton.
name is Anton Jen. Thank you.
She's good. You gotta give her
The
credit.
names. So Vasily and Anton, and the poor Anton, they gave him a woman, like a nice looking
Here
one.
we have brought you woman. Have a good time, eh?
And it's like, hey, you can.
He's not so cold
You
now,
could be
right?
here in Siberia and make us some stuff.
Yeah.
I love that they show that though. Like
Yeah.
that this is also what your country does to you.
Right, but it's also like the look. That was a great opening scene because you see this beautiful woman, arguable woman, no argument in my opinion.
We have no idea what she actually looked like. You just saw her butt.
And that was
That's
a
all
great
you
choice.
saw.
I thought that was a
Not
great
for
choice.
me.
Nameless woman.
Nameless,
Hair.
faceless.
Right.
Hair and naked body. But,
That's it.
But I'm assuming she was good looking, and the look on his face was like, ugh.
Right.
He's miserable, poor guy. They talked about the kids, and that was a great scene. And good to see Vasily back, our boy Vasily.
Is it good to see him?
No, but
Right.
it's good to, you know. Anyway, so
What did he ever do to you?
He represents everything
he
bad.
slept with Nina is what he did to me, pal.
Is that what happened?
Yes.
Is that what ruined Christmas for
It
you?
did.
Everybody sleeps with Nina. You're just the only one.
It's true. I was
Everyone but
actually
me.
thinking about that.
No soup
We've
for you.
got 3 now that we can name.
Yes,
Yes.
3.
And yeah,
I wonder what she tells people. She probably says her number's like 5
I got to get into that Resident Tour.
this year.
That's funny. Okay, so anyway, so to get stealth technology, Arcady and Oleg kind of tell Nina that, look, your new mission is to sort of get Stan. This is good news. Stan's woman's gone. He's down in his luck.
Yeah.
Like he's in love with you. Now's the time to strike. You
Right.
need to get all the intel out of him you can. We need to know what's going on. This is your big moment. And Nina is like, really? You know, and she's kind of seemed hesitant. So Arcady then tells Oleg that, look, she's a traitor. Moscow knows this. If she doesn't do this mission, I'm going to send her back to Moscow. I thought in that moment that this was like Arcady trying to get at Oleg, knowing that they're sleeping together. But it was Arcady.
Thought so too.
I thought so too.
I thought he was calling him out until we heard the rest of it where he's like said but didn't say you need to warn her.
Well, let me ask you guys a question, because it seemed that way, right? It seemed like Arcady's going to Oleg, hey, I can't tell her, but you got protection, so you can tell her.
Well, no, it seemed the other way to me. It seemed Arcady was telling Oleg, like, your girl Nina, she's going back. Like, F you.
Well, I thought I took it one step deeper, and I thought he was doing a solid, like, hey, I care about her, and
That's
you can
how
tell
I
her
read
this.
it towards the end, right?
Right, yeah.
But here's what I'm saying. After looking at the scenes from next week, when Arcady shows up at the Love House, which is not a particularly impressive Love House, but
Looks
when
like a jail cell, really.
right when he shows up there, I think maybe he's playing a little longer game.
No, Arcady's, first of all, Arcady's got a job to do. Like, if Nina's not going to do the job.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe
he's
part of the.
But he's got a job to do. So if Nina's not going to do the job, he knows they've got Stan. Arcady's going to make the moves, whether Nina ran or not. So maybe Nina goes AWOL. Arcady's like, F it, I'll just roll up to Stan's house myself.
What's up, Stan?
He's already on the take.
What is up, Stan?
You know, what is up? That's really bad.
Kilo Stan.
Yes. I don't know what's happening.
HEELO.
Yes.
Kilo. No, you don't get whatever. Fine. Bad.
Anyway.
Don't worry, comrade. I am in the understanding of you.
Thank you.
Stephen Lemieux.
Thank you, Stephen Lemieux. So they confront Nina and they say, look, this is your chance. I mean, I'm sorry, we're back to the Oleg Arcady confrontation. Arcady lets Oleg know that you can let Nina know.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't. You can let Nina know. A lot was answered here because this is where we find out that Arcady really does sort of care, at least something about Nina.
Yeah.
This is where we also find out that Oleg really does care about Nina, because there was some question as to whether or not Oleg was playing her.
He is still questionable.
You really think?
Well, when he gave her the pin, I was like, is this a manipulation move? Because I don't know.
He was very quick. I mean, he always liked her from the beginning, but I feel like Oleg's playing a longer game with Nina as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He's pretty up on the up and up. He gave her the pin. He put it right next to her boob or heart, and then he,
I'll tell you what I think is interesting. Like, it's very funny to see, to me, like, all the stuff that would have set me off is just about this girl that I'm into sleeping with another dude. I couldn't handle that. I could not deal with that. But apparently Oleg has been okay with that because he understands it and he's able to get his head around that.
It's part of the spy game.
spy game, homie.
But treason, no.
Right.
And he was mad. He was pissed, and he did what was right about, he cared for her, but he was heated. He went into that whole thing loaded. He was not. He didn't come in there,
But it could be. It could be as much about treason or as much as about deception. Like, this is someone who's close to, who he's
What's the
sleeping
difference?
with. Well, in other words, if she had told him, "Hey, Oleg, I did this thing. Can you help me out?" Maybe he wouldn't take it. But he had to hear it from Arcady. This is his woman. He had to hear it from someone else. So
I mean,
maybe,
what have they
maybe
been
there's
dating?
that.
Like 3 days, just like Sandra's been gone 3 days? It doesn't feel like.
She'd be my woman if I dated her for 2 weeks.
Obviously, that goes without saying.
Get her sorted out.
No, but to me it reveals that Oleg really cares about her, because he could have said, me and my dad are taking you down, or I'm sending you to Moscow myself,
True.
or da-da-da. But he told her, look, if
You have to run.
If this doesn't work out, if you really think you can't get Stan to turn, you got to run. Which is a hell of a thing to say to your girlfriend. Like, hey, go sleep with Stan until he tells you the truth. until he tells you what you need to know. But if you can't do that, nice knowing you, because
Well, I think he's adult enough to take a look at the situation, and realize that this is probably a bridge too far, too fast.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get Stan to give you some records as to where Oleg was going, and Oleg, no one cares about him anyway.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
Right, but stealth information, like when
that's like
when they were talking about the plan, I'm like, so was she gonna just walk in and be like, "Yo, Stan, stealth"?
Yeah.
What's up?
what you got, man.
Exactly. Like, I know you got stealth.
So can you give me some stealth?
I gotta take it back to
Like,
Resident
that's a
Tour.
I need a
Big
bucket
thing.
of stealth.
Well, she's probably going to say,
no
and
good.
this is not a prediction, this is just like we saw it, that they're going to send me back if you don't give me this information.
Well, yes, but this brings me to my other question.
Well,
My
that was-
question to you.
What
my-
will
my-
Stan do?
Well, no, not even what will Stan do. It really kind of get into the psyche of Nina, right? And you can help me out with this because Joe's useless.
Oh, that's the question you wanted to ask me?
Yeah, because you don't know anything about women. Like, so
He only has daughters, a wife,
daughters and wives.
a dance school.
That's true. All right, so
I ain't talking to him.
I've known you for-
I'll talk to you.
I've known
I
you for-
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, I love you, Joe. I need to ask you. So
Yes.
Nina, she's coming off as, and maybe I'm just blinded by love, but she's coming off now. Maybe I'm zooming out and I'm like, Nina's kind of an opportunist, and she's a self-preservationist, as we all are. But so she got stuck with the sitting the stereo equipment back. So she shacks up with Stan, right? And then Stan kills her boy. So then she goes to Arcadia and says she wants to help her to be a double agent. She's a double agent this whole time. Does she really still like Stan, or she hates Stan now because Stan killed her boy? So
Yeah.
she's working against Stan, working for Arcadia, back repatriated, working for her country. Then she meets Oleg, falls for Oleg. Oleg and her doing the thing. Now she thought she was safe, but now that she knows that she's not safe in Russia, she's gonna come jumping back to Stan. It really genuinely seems that is genuine. Like, she's like, Stan, I need your help me. And this is, I don't know where she stands. Is she like,
I got a question for you about that.
I have a question for both of you. Where's the question in what you're asking me?
Oh, the question is Nina?
recap.
Does Nina?
was
Yeah,
like,
it's a recap.
question.
I'm sorry. The question
All I
is.
know is that you just
I don't know.
recapped season 1 and 2.
I'm sorry. The question. The question. The genuine question is.
Yeah.
Does Nina care about Stan at all?
No.
When she came back and she's like crying, like, Stan,
No.
help me, I
She's
love
just
you,
good.
or she's just trying to.
Homegirl passed the lie detector test.
Right.
She now is a qualified actress.
Well, a little
in the
anus
term
clenching.
of Yeah, exactly. She now knows how to play all sides.
Right.
She works up her whole emotional thing. That's how she's always
So
gotten
she's a
Stan
free
to do
agent right
things.
now. But I guess
No,
I'm getting
I don't
at-
think she's a free agent at all. I think she's working still for Katie and
when
Oleg.
she
I think
confesses to
she's doing-
Stan that they're going to send me back, you think this is a part of her?
Yeah,
this-
that's exactly what I
Can
just
I-
said. That I think she's gonna say.
All right.
No, not yet.
Let me know.
Okay, I'll tell you when. So I think she's gonna say, "Hey, Stan, they're gonna send me back unless you give me this information," because she knows he loves her that much.
Okay.
And if he doesn't, then he doesn't.
Right.
Let me ask you guys
Okay.
a question.
All right.
What if Arcady set this whole thing up? What if Arcady went to Oleg to say this thing to him, to tell him, hey, we're gonna send Nina back to Moscow to stand trial for treason, and knowing that Oleg would go to Nina, then Nina would go to Stan, and now we have the leverage because Nina believes it. So we don't need Nina to play Stan. Nina goes in believing that she's going to be sent back to Moscow so we can get Stan even
So you think
deeper.
Oleg's playing the super?
He could be playing the super long
duper
game.
long, the long game.
It's a possibility.
I guess that's long.
That's a
way
long game.
Oleg or Arcady?
It'd be
super long
Arcady.
game.
It'd be Arcady. You're right.
Right.
It'd be
No, so
Arcady
you're saying
playing long
Arcady.
game.
So let me get this right. So you're
Names.
saying Arcady as a motivator for Nina. He says it's not enough to tell Nina to do the job.
Right.
He's gonna make Nina think that she is going to go back to Moscow if she doesn't do the job. But he's not gonna tell her directly. He's gonna tell Oleg.
Right.
Make Oleg tell her.
Because then it seems legit, and I don't disagree with that.
It
at
could
all.
be. I'm not
But
saying it is.
That is a plausible scenario.
What about the bit where Oleg went rogue and said, "You better run"? So if she runs and Arcadie's like, "Yo, what happened to Nina?" I told her to run, but that wasn't my plan. I was playing the long game.
Well, maybe they should communicate better in Russian. I don't
like
know.
what? Like that's not a.
What
solid
do you
plan.
tell her to run? You not pay attention. What the heck?
Why are you the count?
I really think they'll count it, didn't it? One running Nina, two running Nina.
Okay, sorry. So that's good.
That's good.
Good. So yeah, I don't know. So maybe Arcadia is playing the super duper long.
I'm just
game,
saying it's a possibility.
But it's already been. Oleg's already told her to run, so that long game's busted.
But I'm saying that might be the thing.
All right.
But I also think they probably assume Nina won't run.
Okay. I think Nina is just a free agent now and is on her own. And like, I'm scared. I just need the best. Whoever's helping me the most. If first it was going to be Stan, and then now Stan, I don't want him. I'll go back to Russia. Russia's effing me around. They're going to send me back. I'm going back to Stan. That's what I think.
You know what I love about good writing is when it doesn't feel like the character has much choice.
Yes.
Because you've written them into a place where they don't have.
You do always say that.
I love that.
Yeah,
And
you do love that.
I think this is where we're at with Nina. They've written her to a place where no matter which way she goes, she's backed into a corner, and I love that because
you know what I
it
love?
makes motivated actions.
There's nothing we can really predict in this show.
Yeah, we have no idea what
It's
Nina's.
that good.
I'm just trying to get to Nina's motivations. I have no idea what her motivations are. I have no idea if she's just trying to save herself, if she's really trying to complete the mission to save herself, if she's trying to like run with Stan. Who knows? We'll soon find out. And whether Stan will fall for it, whether Stan will do, what's Stan going to do? Is Stan going to like give her what she wants?
Well,
Is
that's
Stan-
the thing is if it is legit, then the lie can become the truth.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
he's lived in this fantasy that he's the only thing that she's got in the world for so long.
Right. And they did tell him actually that she was in danger.
No.
Oleg said that, didn't
Yeah.
he?
So, I mean, this
it's
might be-
all connecting, really.
And it really does. If it's not the long game, if Arcadie's not playing a long game and she really is running and it's really legit, then Stan is in the position he's wanted to be in. He's been fantasizing about all season. That he's all that's standing between her and the wolves, and he is the hero on the white horse, and he can do that.
I'm going to go Arcady is really, really running the show here. And, I mean, he seems to have done well so far.
All right. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I think Nina's on her own. We'll see. We'll see about this.
We'll see who's right.
So let's switch over to Larrick, because Larrick is a bad guy.
He's not a nice
Turns
boy, that
out,
Larrick.
Larrick's a meanie.
Turns out they were right about
They
him
were right
all
about
along.
him all along when they said that Larrick
Ought
is dangerous.
not
It's so
to poke
weird
the
they
bear.
weren't lying.
Larrick really turned out to be dangerous.
Yeah.
And R.I.P. to our girl Kate, who I was just getting to like. I was just getting to like
So
that Kate.
soon.
I liked her now also at this moment.
Well, she was a kind of a good, because we wanted the introduction of Kate, and she seemed like she was a little wet behind the ears, and she seemed a little too referential to Philip, and really like I'm a big fan of your work, and like almost like a groupie. And then and Philip was disrespectful to her.
Right.
Then we saw her kind of shift and really get into the handler role and sort of boss him around a bit. And as the episodes we got deeper and deeper in the season, she became more and more capable, or maybe she's capable the whole time, but she was revealed as more capable.
We could trust her more.
Right. All the way to the point where Larrick, who, as we know, last season went to George's house. We now know as George. Last episode. And he took out George and took out the network and tapped into the network. And
Right. And the first call he made was to Kate.
Kate.
So that was the address he found
Yep.
and he got her.
And he
I
shows
wonder
up
if
there.
he knows, well, he must know that she's the first point of contact.
Yes.
And that she must be the handler because that's who he called first.
He did. I thought that was a random.
Well, no,
I thought that was random.
I think it is random because he was just trying any number that George had, because George hit the self-destruct button, but whatever
Right.
didn't get fried is what he got through on.
True.
So it just happened to
Well,
be
that was he came up, sevens on that one. That
well,
was,
not really, because he was going after Philip and Elizabeth. He
Right.
didn't want the handler.
Right.
So I mean, and he kind of crapped out, if you want my opinion. To continue with your metaphor,
Sure.
because she didn't have any information on Philip and Elizabeth, didn't have anything to give him.
But if you bet the pass line, I'm kidding. No. So that's we're playing craps. So we're
11, the hard way.
all right. But he did show up at the at Kate's house, and Kate did seem to know what was happening. It was very sneaky.
I feel like they have that plan, that emergency plan.
Right.
Going into all these things.
And you asked us, we were watching it, can Kate kick ass? Is she going to be
Right.
a badass?
I wanted to know if she was going to be badass Kate or just like communication Kate.
She was badass Kate. I think she was ready for action.
was.
She did give Larrick a good
Pencil
smack.
skirts, though, not ready for action.
I was
Pencil
gonna,
skirts.
Every
not
time
for anything.
You wear the pencil skirt.
I said every time I wear a pencil skirt, man, it's
Yeah.
never a good call.
But she was ready, and I thought that she was pulling out the toilet paper like a silencer deal, but we know now that it was a message.
Right.
And in fairness, 3 or 4 wads of toilet paper probably not going to work as a silencer.
That's what I said, and he was like, "Oh, that's how you do it."
You know,
I was like, "Really?" I don't know.
Ask
I
Joe
was
about
wrong.
being a hitman. He knows.
I
He-
was
he
wrong.
seemed really.
Use the toilet paper sensor. Come on, man.
I seen
He
the
was
old
convincing, so
the
I
old
believe
toilet
him.
paper trick works every time.
Everybody knows that.
I've seen it before.
News to me.
Stallone. So he comes in. So Larrick attacks her, and I thought Larrick killed her initially, but no, he strung her up and was very menacing and very scary. And that whole scene was just terrifying. He found all of her information and did the whole questioning bit. And just the way he's walking behind her and kind of like jostling her hips.
Oh, so creepy.
Oh, that was just so creepy.
I felt a little bit more comfortable knowing he was gay and that he wasn't going to necessarily rape
I
her.
forgot about
Isn't that the lunacy of our mindset in this country?
I forgot about that.
We are so
I felt
crazy.
so much better if I knew that.
That we were like,
forgot.
he must be about
He
to
might
rape
kill
this
her, but
woman.
at least he's not going to have sex with her. And that would be terrible. Then she'd be ruined.
Well, I'm also so
A good,
surprised.
clean death. What is wrong with us?
I don't know. We've
We're
been
mental
conditioned.
patients.
It was
Clearly.
Just
But
thank God he didn't rape her. He broke her neck, hung her up, and tortured her for a few hours, but he didn't have sex with her, so thank goodness.
I would like to know, though, why he outright killed her and didn't torture her for more information, because she clearly has it. Just because it's not lying around just means she's good at her job.
Well, I think that it was really at that point when someone spits in your face, it's the ultimate, that's the ultimate.
Like, he knows she's
indignity.
just not revealing
I
anything.
think maybe he lost his temper. Maybe he's lost it. A guy like Lyric. I mean, if you
does
spit in his
Lyric-
face, there's only like one option.
Does
really.
Lyric lose his temper?
He didn't lose his temper, but he very calmly and coolly said, "Oh, okay, that was interesting. All right, snap."
Creepy. Super
Mm.
creepy. I wonder what he did with her body, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We're going to find out eventually.
Didn't need to see it's all of that. Just him sort of getting the leverage and getting it all.
I got to say that I thought that was a great choice. I thought that was great. It's one of those things. I don't know about you, but every now and then you see something in a movie where they break somebody's neck and it's super fast, and you're like,
Right.
oh, that's unpleasant.
And the
But when you
sound.
watch the whole thing getting
Right.
in there, then you can
And then
almost,
the cutaway, and you just cut away, and then you hear the sound.
Ugh.
And it's
Still
like,
hurts.
you
oh.
really put yourself in her shoes, and you can
Yeah.
feel his. You can imagine how in that moment where your volition is completely gone, and here it
Ugh.
comes.
R.I.P. Kate.
Bye.
So I also had one of my moments when I was watching this. I'm like, God, this show again. We talk about the loyalties and who you're rooting for, not rooting for. I'm like stupid Navy SEAL Americans, killing my poor KGB people. Like, get them, Philip
Right.
and Elizabeth. Well, I want Russia to take out America, and then it'll be great. Wait a minute.
No.
No, I don't want that.
You know what? Like Costa Ronan said, it's not about the bigger picture. It's really about the characters.
Yeah,
It's about
so
the people.
We're rooting for Kate because we all of a sudden like Kate, but
Rooting
we
for
hate
characters.
Lyric. So who cares if he's American or not? We just don't like him.
It's the ultimate magic trick of the show. I can say it over
Right.
and over again.
it's so
it's so good
So
because
good.
we are rooting for characters and not sides, obviously.
Right,
So
which it's so odd because you would think we're completely on the American side.
because we do not want to see Lyric come in and take us because if this were a different show or a different movie, if this were an 80s action movie, Lyric would be Bruce Willis.
Absolutely.
And he would find all the Russians and take them all out, and then that would be it.
And then have a gay orgy at the end, which probably get cut from the final film.
He went there.
No.
He totally went there.
But so that's interesting. I mean, I'm thinking like Lyric as a different guy. I mean, if Lyric was Oliver North, or if Lyric was, if this was 80
totally.
movies, he'd be, like I said, he'd be Bruce Willis.
Right.
Shades of Grey,
But
Grey.
now we're like Lyric. I want Philip, and I want the KGB to take this American out. So hopefully, but we do see is, as we talked about a couple episodes ago, the ultimate scary possibility is him not only getting to Philip and Elizabeth, but getting to the family, getting to Paige and getting to
Can't even.
Henry. And this is kind of what this whole season's really been about, is about
Right.
the proximity to danger that they have their family.
Remember
to.
how paranoid they were in that one episode where they were just looking out the window the
Sure.
whole time? They had a tail on them.
Well, the center was watching them as
Right.
well, but they were
Right.
like, I don't trust the center.
Speaking of the center watching them, though, we still need to know what Kate was doing with Jared.
Yeah, that's
That's
really
a big mystery right there.
And then the code, the very elaborate code, just said get Jared out.
That was so cool. That was
is
super
cool.
spy move.
Yeah, that's super spy. I love that. And
Me
it's like,
too.
and I love the intrigue. I love that as a cliffhanger too, because we're like, well, whoa, what does that mean?
Wait, but also the fact that the toilet seat was up and she's clearly a woman.
Yeah.
And that they knew then to look at the toilet paper roll.
Yes, that's great stuff.
So good.
And Lyric didn't go to the bathroom. He's better
He's a
than that.
robot.
She did that.
Yeah.
Obviously. Thank you.
Yeah, so I wonder who's going to get to first. I mean, this is definitely the ultimate cat and mouse spy game. Yes. Will Philip and Elizabeth find Lyric or find out who it is? First of all, first find who Lyric and then find Lyric, or before they find them, or will Lyric find them? And then
I'm so
we know the
surprised Lyric
showdown's
wasn't
coming.
sitting there waiting for them, because clearly if Kate was getting those messages from the center saying we can't get through to the switchboard or whatever, she is the next point of contact, right?
Right,
Or do
but
they all have that same frequency?
I don't know, because Lyric was very clear. Like he said, I found all your hiding spaces, I found all the information,
Right.
and there's nothing on the people who killed my friends. So you're very careful. You're very good at your job.
You were good at your
Yeah,
job.
he said
I
it while
found
she was still
nothing.
alive. Oh, sorry.
So just tell me where they are.
Right.
Spit, snap, the end.
But he could have waited there assuming that people would come looking for her.
He could have.
And then he could have caught them, and it would have been easy.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he's a Navy SEAL. It's not like he's not waited.
Well,
in places
there's no
before.
real guarantee that the people he's looking for will be the people that come to check on her.
Right.
It might be 5 or 6 guys, that he. What does he know? It might be like a whole handful of dudes who come rolling in.
Sure.
But that would be his dream.
Hello.
Hello.
We're back.
And we got the end of the movie.
You're welcome.
So yeah, the Lyric thing is that he's also a great character, a great villain. He's a great big bad, as they say in the TV world. I like Lyric. It's also interesting that last season we didn't really have like a sort of a big bad guy. We kind of had, we didn't have in this season. We have, Lyric, who's, the big bad has been America, but now it's sort of Lyric, who maybe represents that time.
If I can make a brief point, I think that is another strength of the show is that there is no one guy big bad, and I like that Lyric is not a 6'9".
He's pretty badass though.
But he's 5'10". He's as a medium-sized, medium-build badass. He's not Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's not 9 feet tall.
Right.
He's not like got a razor haircut and a crazy hard face.
Right.
He's just an average-looking guy who knows how to do stuff.
Sure.
And that makes so much more sense, and it makes it so much more plausible. And I love that. I love that he's a
Realistic.
yeah, he's realistic, and he's a functional. He's like you are a functional within a military structure. You're not a barbarian that's put in an American uniform.
Well, let me ask you. He keeps saying this, but is Lyric's function here to get revenge and take everyone out and take down the network, or is it just is it simple revenge?
Get his monkey, he's getting the monkey off his back.
No, but is it simple revenge of like, you killed my friends, now I'm going to kill you? Like, I can put up with you guys blackmailing me. I can put up with all this crap. You guys had me, but...
Well, didn't he say he was a prisoner, or I'm tired of being at your will, or
right.
whatever?
But I think
bed.
but I think he was free of that. I think that he had taken out George, taken out the network. He's taken out Kate. I mean, he's pretty much can skip town and be free, and no one's going to maybe come after him.
He doesn't want to skip town. He wants to, he's a Navy SEAL.
He wants to be back
operative,
and working,
and he wants no one over his shoulder.
Right.
So as Philip and Elizabeth both have seen him, he knows them. They have to be gone. And once they're gone, then he doesn't know anybody else that knows him.
Because presumably, Emmett and Leanne, he's taken them out if that's
Right.
who we're blackmailing him. He's taken out
Kate, George.
If he takes out George, if he takes out Philip and Elizabeth, there's no one left but Jared, which is why Jared's got to go. Maybe.
Ooh, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah. Because maybe that is the answer. Maybe Jared has that answer a question about did Lyric kill Leanne and Emmett or not, because if he did not finish the job and he has to go take care of Jared, that means that he has a really clean.
So Jared could be a new wedge. So we got to
Right.
make sure we get Jared off the board. All right, maybe.
Interesting. So let's shift gears over to Philip and Elizabeth for a while. For a second, on the spy side, we see a pretty cool disguise from Philip as he goes in to talk to.
Yeah.
I liked his
guy.
beard. That was a good beard.
That was he looked like one of the Doobie Brothers again. I like
yeah,
that look.
the character was solid.
Yeah.
I was on board.
I liked it.
I was on board. So yeah, that
I
was,
liked his little braid. It was really realistic.
Oh yeah,
to the times.
the braid, and he even had a little an affected speech that was sort of like, that kind of a guy. But I was happy to see my guy. I can't remember his name. Zelko Ivanic, which is the character actor who played my man who played John Skeeves, the cancer patient guy. I love seeing him in everything. He's great in
So
Damages, and he's on Banshee. He was great, and he's on a bunch of stuff, Revolution, a bunch of other crap. But anyway, he's good, and so that was interesting to see that, to get a way to get that information, whereas you go into that guy who has been sort of thrown away as someone who's dying and maybe doesn't remember much.
Well, it's also a great device to kind of tell people like this stuff went on. That happened.
Oh, yeah.
There were tons of guys. There are still tons of guys.
Yeah.
We still have secret locations.
Yeah.
We still fly people in and out of Las Vegas in unmarked planes that don't have windows, and we land them in secret bases, and we do the work through Boeing and through Lockheed and it's funded by the government.
Yeah.
I mean, that all goes on still. And people do get sick, and they don't want to be responsible for because they're always messing with new stuff. We don't know what this is going to do to
Right.
people. I mean, what did he say? It was paint with ball bearings?
He talked about what they
microscopic-
tried to do and didn't work. But what they found was if they did these microscopic iron balls, you know,
In the paint.
Aerosolized
to spray on. Eventually,
Then the radar bounces off it and it kills the bats, which I don't know if that was I don't know if that
I
was
think the bats were in his head.
No, they're
Brain
real
cells.
bats.
No,
I
real
think
bats?
it's a
Why are
radar.
there
It's because
bats?
it's a radar thing. I think maybe
Well, you probably got big hangers. You probably got some bats hanging in the hanger, in the rafters.
but also bats fly.
I think it was a double
by.
entendre, really.
Well, it could be. It could be.
Because he also said the cancer went to his brain. Bats in the brain.
It could be that too. I was thinking that, and I don't know how that when in terms of a stealth situation, you can't, if bats are in the thing and they're flying around and they that's how they detect things.
Maybe they're using the bats to test it out.
Flew right into it and die because that's how you know that it works.
Interesting.
Also
this is my-
interesting.
Yeah,
Your
'cause they
point
use- yeah.
might be better.
And I could
Certainly closer than
Yeah,
but also
well, hey.
it killed the bats and it killed him because he inhaled all this
Right.
aerosol and obviously caused the cancer and
But they're not gonna be responsible
Don't
for it.
inhale the stealth paint.
Yeah,
by
don't
the
ever-
way. Don't
Good
do
to
that.
know.
That's
Glue,
not
yes. Stealth paint,
That's
no.
not a good look. So we did get that. So that intel. So again, this is just a long way to get all this spy information. What they do to obtain information
Right.
is through various sources, whether it's sleeping with people or it's interesting what they do. So that was cool.
They prey on the weak.
Yes. So they have the information, but they have no one to report it to because everyone's gone.
So crazy. And at the end, they sort of figure that out.
And the network's gone itself. So it'll be interesting to see how they proceed because we may finally see, I don't know, we may or may not. We may finally see the next people they can report to. Is it Arcady?
Well, can we
Yes.
one more thing I want to mention that's interesting to me is the idea of who the disaffected are. Who are the weak links? And why are they the weak links?
Right.
Like why was this character, John, right?
Yep.
Why was this person vulnerable? And it's interesting to me. There are times when you're a spoiled brat and you expect things that aren't due you,
Sure.
and you're gonna turn. But there are also times when you have been abandoned by this system. This system does leave people behind, and it's interesting that the show doesn't shirk from that. That this guy legitimately has cancer. He most likely got it from the program. There's no real dancing around that. And I think that's interesting to me because it really kind of points the finger at the system a little bit.
Well, look, the show is definitely a warts and all show, right?
Warts
Yeah.
is a great term.
The show is not about we're going to show America in a great light. We're going to
that's
show
my point.
Russians as the bad guys and Americans as great guys.
They show each side equally.
Yeah.
I think,
Warts and all. I
fairly,
think that's
fairly.
that's a terrific way to say it.
Joe Weisberg, former CAA,
Great way to put it.
he knows what he's talking
Yeah.
about specifically. I do want to, before we run out of time here, I do want to just briefly touch on the whole Paige thing because Elizabeth was just so adamant about Paige not going to this camp. Philip starting to soften 2 episodes ago after
Yeah.
his confrontation with Pastor What's-His-Head.
Tim.
Pastor Tim. You're so good.
She is good with the names, man.
Thank you.
Nothing.
That's why I'm here.
After his confrontation with Pastor Tim and his sort of, coming back to earth, and he sort of softened on this whole thing. Elizabeth has been hard on it. And
Which, by the way, I thought about while we were watching tonight that when they were paired as partners
Yeah.
in spyness, they were never asked, are you going to parent the same way?
Right,
Are you going to
exactly.
be partners in everything?
Yeah.
And raise your children that we need you to have the same way? And,
Exactly. And that's also interesting, too, when you think about that. This is more philosophical than we have time for, but, in that initial thing, we're going to make you guys are going to partner up, and then you guys are going to probably have some sex, have some kids, and then you're going to raise those kids, and then you're going to start doing some spy stuff. How do you know that that's going to, the kids, what if you beat the kids? What if the kids go nuts? How do you know that that's something they can sustain over a 15-year
how do
period?
you know those two are suited to be
talk about the long game.
I would point that this has never been done before, and this is an interesting. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah. So anyway, Paige, Elizabeth is adamantly against this whole thing, and Philip's been, talking it through, and Paige does a fantastic job of really making your case, and that was a really lovely
How great
moment.
was that? You're a dad.
Yes.
You've been on both ends of that. You've done
have.
the prepared speech for mom and dad,
Yes.
and you've received the prepared speech for mom and dad.
Yes.
And it is hilarious because you do have that moment where you go, All right, you've taken the time. I'm gonna hear you out with a little more love because
Right.
you came in prepped. You're ready. Look at you. Your hair's fixed. You came up with your arguments.
She was eloquent.
She was eloquent. It was a great argument, and it's like it was really so you can't you can control me in this house until I'm 18, but you can't basically control my thoughts and who I am. And
That's
the question is,
me.
did that resonate? I mean, did that really resonate for Elizabeth? And did she really say okay, or was it really just like we got a mission to do?
I think it's a
No,
combination.
I think that first she already recognized that Paige is very similar to her.
Yeah.
And I think second that why she was going on this trip was actually anti-American, so
Right.
they appreciated that and said
Right.
go,
Yeah.
because maybe this will actually open her eyes to what we already believe in, and then they don't
Right.
have to tell her that.
Good point.
So
That's a great point.
Well,
it helped their case.
Yeah. it's a great
I think more nuanced than that. I mean, it's not necessarily anti-American. It's anti-stupid ass stuff. I mean, the reality was we were flying.
That was eloquent.
No, but it was. It was stupid. We still have an unexploded nuclear bomb.
Anti-stupid ass dumb stuff.
There is an unexploded nuclear bomb that was dropped from a bomber flying in the U.S. We flew them
That
for
happened.
decades
Yeah,
that
that-
were loaded with nuclear bombs.
Yeah, that happened.
And so there's an unexploded nuclear bomb. I believe it's in the Gulf of Mexico. Or is it in the Gulf of Mexico, or is it's further inland? It's in mud and water, and we can't find it. And it's there. And someday the sucker might go off and blow up wherever it is. I mean, this is a thing we did for a long, long time. So I mean, it might just be a matter of like, hey, this is just plain stupid.
Yeah.
I don't think so. They don't do anything that's just like, let's just send her off because that's an interesting thing for her to do. Everything is so calculated.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see how this. Well, hopefully she's she's on the field trip when Larrick comes in.
Right.
But I'll say this for predictions, but I do have a prediction regarding that. Oh my God. Okay.
Should we just?
Let's go into predictions.
Well.
We're here now.
And the soundboard hung.
Hanging soundboard. Okay. Do the predictions, Joe. Let me do the sound effects.
AfterBuzz TV prediction.
That was really good.
That's not bad.
No.
Okay, let's hear your prediction, JTJ.
Oh, now you're just getting crazy. Yes, ladies first, but not right now.
Joe.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was digging up the
you want me to
unexploded
go
nuclear.
first?
It is off the coast of Georgia. The unexploded nuclear bomb
Yes.
that we dropped in 1958. Predictions. So I think that Arcadia is playing a long game. I think that that's what's going on. I think when he meets with Stan, it's going to be, we have this on you. You have Nina. Here's what we need. Otherwise, we know where you have her, and we're going to kill her.
Okay.
Killer.
Do you want me to go or you want to go?
You.
This is really a bold prediction, but so the whole thing has been about the proximity of danger, the danger that the kids have been in, the potential danger that the kids may or may not be in. I think that Elizabeth is going to go on this trip, or this whole camp trip. Paige, I'm sorry, this whole camping thing. I feel like Paige might not make it, or Paige is going to either be dead or close or shot, or something's going to happen, and it's really going to rock Elizabeth to her core, because she could have been like, if I sent her away to camp, or if I let her go to the thing, she would be alive, or if I let her go to the thing, she would be.
Well, but she's going.
But she's going to the protest, but she's not going to the
Right.
camp.
Right.
I feel like there's going to be something that Elizabeth's going to not let her go to, and then the result will be she's going to be put in harm's way because of it.
Interesting.
And it's very similar to the way I predicted, that I perfectly predicted what's going to happen with Lucia and the effect that will have. Is that her name, Lucia?
Yep.
Oh, I got that one right.
Yeah.
What happened with Lucia and the effect that it would have on Elizabeth. I thought Lucia is going to get got, and,
Well, yeah,
and Elizabeth
absolutely.
is going to, it's going to have this lasting effect. I feel it's the same things that happened to Paige. Elizabeth will have to deal with the consequences of her actions directly as it relates to her kids, who will be put in harm's way because of her.
I agree with all the things
What do you got?
guys said.
Nothing?
I just agree with those things.
I'll take it.
I
I'll
know.
take it.
I do want to point out, because I'm not a crazy person,
Yes.
1958, we were war games off the coast of Georgia. An F-86 fighter collided with a B-47 bomber. They had a little mid-air collision. The bomber was flying with live nuclear warhead
not?
inside. Why not? Because we're insane people. So he tried to land the plane a couple times, couldn't land the plane, got permission to jettison the live nuclear bomb. So he jettisoned it off the coast of Georgia. It has been there for 55 years, and they have not found it. They don't know where it is.
Interesting. I do now have a prediction.
Yes.
That I think that Philip and Elizabeth will meet Larrick at Jared.
Oh, okay. I'll take it.
Ba-boom, ba-boom, bada-bing.
Joe Sanfelippo,
Nice and
where
clean.
can we find you,
You
sir?
can find me on the Twitters at Joe Filippo, JoeFlippo, and my website is josephsanfelippo, JosephSanfelippo.com.
Ooh.
Wow.
Say that 4 times fast.
JTJ, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jen the Jew, Jenifer Golden on Facebook, my website, JeniferGolden.com, and I am one half of
Yes.
twodrunkgirls.net.
Laura Leonelli is the other half. You can find me. I'm Joe Braswell. You can find me at Joe K. Braswell on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you very much. We have 2 episodes left of The Americans. We'll see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Ruby. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.